5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning. This is your wake-up call.
Welcome to China Jedi Talk, where we interview a broad selection of the human race who spawn from different cities, towns, and villages in and around China and across the world to talk about life, business, love, strife, places, faces, different races, attractions, distractions, goals, and aspirations, creating selections, affections, opportunities, and connections. And as always, shining humor, love, and light on Chinese life. May the smile be with you.
Can I just say that my questions just like yours are just begun? Can I just say that your questions just like mine are just begun? Cause it was breaking news.
It is a little, it's a little lonely because my partner is in the UK with the kids right now. We'll be returning soon. So that's weird, right? You go from this big city where you walk down the street and I'll see like 20 people I know, because the expat community is close. And if you walk into anywhere, people, you can sit down with them or not. You can ignore them too if you want, up to you. But here it's really, really quiet. So, making friends is a different experience here than Guangzhou.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to a China Jedi Talk. It's been quite some time. This is episode number 13, where we meet, chat, and get to know various people from around the world, all of which, of course, have some type of China connection, whether it be actually being from China, living and working in China, doing business with China, or even having visited China as a tourist. So our special guest today is actually based not in China anymore, which I think why this episode is so interesting for us. She's actually based now in an island, a small island off of Bali, wonderful Bali in Indonesia. And she is an online and I'm sure offline fitness expert, guru, coach. She is none other than Kara Watsky. Welcome back, this time to China Jedi Talk, Kara.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
And I'm superbly happy that you're here because, as I said earlier, you've already been many years ago. We were thinking it's probably over 4 years now. I'd say probably around 3 years. Should have done my research to get the date. But you were on the China Jedi show. And listeners, if you're interested to do a little bit of a comparison and a juxtaposition, episode 9 of the China Jedi show titled R2 K2, and we'll get into why that is in a minute. But Kara was on, and Anthony, the co-host, was there at the time, and we discussed many things. I've got down here the show notes, Kara. We've got changing sex, ping pong, swimming caps, pains in the arse, chicken farmers, and much, much more. I'd like to think China Jedi have matured somewhat since then.
Wow, I need to re-listen to that episode. Oh my gosh, what were we talking about?
What were we talking about? But in the main, what we really were showcasing was, of course, the great work and services that you were doing. You came to our studio in Zhuhai. You were based in Guangzhou. And I think what's really marvelous today is we're going to see how you've developed, how your business has developed, how many people you've helped in the health and well-being industry to really take off and meet those health goals. I think you've done a wonderful service to society, and we really want to showcase that. It's the kind of thing we like to do, shine positive lights on things happening in China. And of course, you've made the big move to Bali as well, which is a really interesting aspect because we're in a massive change, aren't we? I think everyone is really in flux and questioning everything and thinking of making those moves and combating their fears and all that. So I think this should be a really inspirational podcast. So look, let's go right back to when we were talking about ping pong and chicken farmers and things like that, and just give a quick little deluge into what you were doing at the time, those years ago, and how it's kind of developed and got even better.
Well, goodness, based on those episode notes that you have, I'm not sure what I was doing at the time, mate. But I do know in K2 Fit, we were running our online fitness company in China, based in Guangzhou, and we would travel around China to visit all of our members, and Zhuhai was one of our biggest memberships. So we would come down there and run offline events as well as our online services and coaching. So I always loved coming down to Zhuhai. It was beautiful to be by the sea and meet up with our clients and actually put, like a tangible and physical face, have some time, FaceTime with our clients. Because like since then we have gone fully online, so being able to like be in front of people does give me like great joy. The thing with online though is we can reach a lot more people. So that's why we went from boot camps and personal training to developing our online business, which now has helped over 6,000 people. Whereas with personal training and boot camps is very limited in your hours per day. Online allows us to go to a lot more. So that's what we're doing at K2 Fit.
And I think perfect what you just said there. I mean, there's only one Cara and there's only so much you can do in a day, right? So when you actually take a business online, and of course where you are is full of digital nomadism, as they say, you can really hit a lot more customers and make a lot more impact. Still, of course, that face-to-face is really important, isn't it? And, as a teacher, you can't beat face-to-face with the children. It just doesn't make the same effect when you're just online. But of course, it's better than nothing. Now, tell me about the business has got 6,000 people you've helped, which is brilliant. And you have these programs, say for, before when we spoke, you had the free. So someone who wasn't really in the fitness game and just wanted to get started. Then you had that kind of a medium level. They'd done it before, but wanted to go a bit further. And then, of course, you had the expert level who really wanted to kind of stretch themselves with their goals. So is that still the main case? You still have those free kind of main personalized, yes. I don't want to say cookie cutter programs, but in a way you have very creatively managed to hit those free target markets really well, yeah?
For sure. And just to go on this cookie cutter program, it is definitely not a cookie cutter program. I think that's where people get confused though, right? Because in fitness, like we have 6 different main programs within the online site, but it's about the 23 other hours and coaching and mindset and wellness and giving people the tools to manage the other 23 hours they have in a day. Anyone can give a workout, right? I think, of course, my programs are the best because they're designed to transform bodies, but there's tons of other like fitness programs you can grab off the like YouTube or the net or whatever. It's more about what I do as a coach, what my coaching team does, our team captains and the community, and that support, motivation, and the inspiration that goes behind. So it's not just handing over a PDF with one program that people go, oh, okay, there's 6,000 people doing this program, whatever. Oh, okay, cool. No, it's much more than that. So while there's only 6 programs, there's 6 intricate programs, and we modify to each level. So if you were my client mate and you said, Coach Cara, I'm looking at day 1 and these 3 exercises together I can't do because of this reason, my knee hurts, my hip hurts, I can't do this, I'm actually coaching you through it. So we connect, even though that we're not in person. I would be like, okay, Chris, what I want you to do instead is bop, bop, bop. And I give you the tools to work around that. So while it may be a program that's launched out to a lot of people, it's very, very personalized in the fact that we're there coaching online, ready at any time with my team. And that's the beauty of K2 Fit is we've grown. So I've been able to hire coaches. I've been able to get captains that take care of people. Because imagine me with 6,000 people at one time. I'd just be on my computer like, oh my God, ticking away nonstop. It'd be impossible, right? So yeah, we've created this like coaching culture that goes out to our coaching team and to our captains and now through the community. So I'm really proud of it. So you might have touched a little bit of nerve, but I hope I resonated with the fact that it's not cookie cutter in the sense that we do personalized coach in the program.
Yeah, and I think the word that you used there, which is really strong, of course, is community. And I think what you've described very well there is a holistic community, and one where you can personalize via your trained captains that you have on your team. And I just think that's that holistic sense of again, moving into the mindset as well. It's so important when we come to exercise. It's not just about the physical body as well. It's got to be right in the heart and in the mind, in the head, wherever mind is Scientists haven't worked that out yet, but it's got to be.
If it was, Chris, if it was as easy as me handing somebody a program and just saying eat well, we would all be super fit, right? Because we know what to eat. Actually, we know that we should eat whole foods and whole grains and lots of veggies and lots of fruits and lean proteins, cut excessive meats, like we know what to do, but it's the mindset behind that, what's going on. It's much more than just handing a program and saying do good, right? So that's what we're trying to do in K2Fit, is really just coach along the way to make sure that people are set up to hit their goals.
Totally. And of course, everyone comes with a different motivation, be it intrinsic, extrinsic. A lot of us, like you and me, I'm sure, we exercise, we just do it. Our body drives us to do it, whatever is that motivation, wherever it's come from. And like, take me, for example, I actually like, Cara, to exercise on my own. I find it my own little meditation. I don't particularly like doing weights and going to the gym, but what I like is the afterwards feeling when the endorphins have gone around the body, and I like eating afterwards because I've done something good for myself. And there's a motivation in there that's for me, and some other people listening, I'm sure, will share that. But then, and this is where I think K2Fit was so wonderful, when we go back the years when we had you on first in episode 9, was that the community that you created allowed people, and I think there's probably a lot more people like this, who don't want to get out of bed and go to the gym, or they have some troubles in the mind where, they don't want to be with people who are maybe more fit than they are. And there's that kind of thing there as well, where they don't want to go into a gym when they don't feel so, as good as other people. And what you created was, for everybody, a community feel where everyone came together and supported each other. And if that's not what we need now more in the world, then I don't know what is.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I would have to put down a lot of the success to our clients based on community. Like I'd love to say I'm the best coach in the world, and I think I'm okay. I'm pretty good. We've helped 6,000 people, but really it is the culture of what we do in the community, and I'm proud to be the coach of this amazing supportive community that helps a lot of people.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And I say we wish you push more and more and more, because there's a lot of sick and unhealthy people out there. And as you said, we all know what we need to do, but there's a difference between knowing what to do and actually doing it. So you're really helping to fill that gap. I absolutely love it. So K2Fit, everybody. What is the website, by the way, Cara? Just give us that.
K2fit.com. So it's okay. K2, like the number 2, and FIT.com.
And you could see the amazing creativity, listeners, being China Jedi. Obviously, not about Star Wars, but there's a little link that we put R2K2, as in R2D2, the little robot guy. So anyway, let's move on, because this is what really, really interests me. Of course, you built this wonderful community, over 6,000 users of your programs, but you're no longer in Guangzhou. We should put some little violin piano music in here, maybe, researchers. What happened? Because this is something that happened this year. We got in touch. We were like, let's do a podcast together. Some really good stuff we can do here. Tell me the process of where this came about, because you were doing really good stuff in Guangzhou. What was going on, Cara, that made these changes start to happen?
So Guangzhou is kind of home to me, right? I have a tattoo actually now of the skyline of Guangzhou. I love it so much. I live there.
Whereabouts is the tattoo?
It's just above my left elbow on the back side. Okay. Yeah. So Guangzhou, I mean, it was my home for almost 20 years, which is like half my life. So it's not, I didn't wake up and go, I want to leave Guangzhou. We were enjoying life. My partner and I are there. The problem occurred in the fact that our kids had gone to England to be with their dad for a bit. And now we're in this pandemic where we cannot leave China and return to China. So we got to a point, I think it had been about 2 years almost that we had not seen our kids. So we have 3 kids. That's a long time to not hang out with your kids and be around them. And it was getting increasingly harder emotionally to be away from family, which I know a lot of people and a lot of listeners will understand and appreciate, in the sense that it's extremely, extremely difficult and heartbreaking right now. So many people apart. And Christy and I were sitting at a pub, as you do, sitting at a pub, having dinner. we're like sitting together. We work together full time. We live together full time. So we're together 24/7. And we enjoy and love each other's company. We're laughing, having a drink, having burgers. Yes, coaches do have drinks and burgers. If they tell you they don't, they're lying.
80-20.
80-20 rule. You can still enjoy and be fit. So we were sitting there and we had this opportunity. Somebody had mentioned investing in a place, in a property in Gili Islands in Indonesia. And we were like, well, that sounds weird, silly. We don't even know what it is. Why would we do this? And then we're sitting at the pub and we're like, oh my gosh, wait, if we invest and they give us investors kitas, which means we're allowed to move to Indonesia, which means we could go visit our kids in the UK and go back because Indonesia was open at that time. And we just had this revelation. We're like, okay, we hang out together all the time. Why are we here in Guangzhou when our business is fully online now? The only offline we do is for charity. We do charity work for kids battling cancer, and those are the offline events we do. And then we visit our clientele as well, and usually do like charity work there as well. But everything else was online. And we're like, oh my gosh, let's just do it. Let's move. And we just on a whim decided that night, like, and every day we were like, are we doing this? Are we actually going to do this? And we're like, yeah, let's go. Let's make the shift.
Whoa. Well, there you go. So that, I think, is just inspirational in itself, Cara. And anyone listening now who's thinking of relocating or even potentially not even considering it, I think, these challenges and huge challenges that have come from, this plandemic, this controlovirus, as I like to call it. And it's so upsetting to hear these stories. I mean, I had a good friend now, he's moved to the UAE. So his family can come out and finally they'll be reunited after over a year. It's just mad. I mean, your children, how old are they, Cara?
The girls are 20 today. I have twin girls, so they're turning 20 today. And our boy is 15.
Well, happy birthday. Wonderful.
Thank you.
And 15. So two 20-year-olds and 15. I mean, they need their folks around. It's important, at any point in life. And of course, that tick the boxes. It's just amazing how it just comes from, a friend, as you said, says something. It's like an angel puts something in front of you. We're aware enough to take a look at it and move forward. So let's focus on actually where you are. Now, to anyone who doesn't know, Bali, of course, is one of the islands in Indonesia. It's become a haven for tourism and, well, lots of different things, not just tourism and clubbing and diving and just amazing things. It's got the most resorts in the world, apparently, and most spas. My researchers have told me, Cara. So if you like spas, Bali's the place to go. But you're actually not in Bali. You're on one island, which is a set of three. Yeah, could you just quickly explain that?
So I'm on Gili Air, which is one of the Gili Islands. There's three, and this is the medium-sized one. And it's very, very, very quiet and very chill. But I think this is also a pandemic thing. Usually it's a bustling tourism spot, more for families, whereas the other islands are a little bit more for party, I think. But I'm just getting to know the islands a little bit, and it's very strange coming in when it's pandemic and there's no tourism. So it's I barely see people, and there's only horses on the island.
Very, oh, that's lovely. Very, very bizarre times. And just on that note, Indonesia, is it still closed down? I mean, Bali, of course, its biggest industry, which you're close to, is tourism. If tourists can't get in, then that's going to have a massive effect on all the service industry. Can people get in now, Cara, still, or is it still closed?
They can get in now. They've just opened, and they're opening Bali, I think, officially to tourism in middle of October. But you can get certain visas to get in, yes.
That is wonderful news to hear. And how long have you been on your Robinson Crusoe Island for?
Yeah, almost 3 months now.
Okay, I got to say, I found, I was just looking at my little library I got in my house, and I saw this on the spine, Southeast Asia on a shoestring, Lonely Planet Guide, listeners. It's about when I was traveling 20 years ago. So I got it out. It's still in good nick. And I had a look if the Gili Islands were on it, and they were. And so I just want to read something here just to see if this resonates with your
Sure.
3 months now on the island. So it says, page 276, for decades, backpackers have made the hop from Bali for a dip in the turquoise-tinted bathtub warm waters of the tiny, irresistible Gili Islands and stayed longer than they anticipated. Perhaps it's the deep water coral reefs teeming with sharks, rays, and reasonably friendly turtles, ? Maybe it's the serenity that comes with no motorized traffic, dogs or cops. Well, we know we have horses. Or could it be the beachfront bungalows, long stretches of white sand, and the friendly locals? My gosh, I feel I'm there now with you doing the podcast. Each of these jungled pearls located just off the northwestern tip of Lombok have their own unique character, but they have one thing in common: they are all hard to leave. And then it goes on to say family-friendly Gili Air, which of course you are talking to us from, is the closest to the mainland. I think it's less than 10k, isn't it? Looking at this map, quite short.
Yeah, sure.
With plenty of homestays dotted among the palm trees. Mellow Gili Meno, the middle island, that's the other island. Gili Meno, right? Gili Meno?
Gili Meno, yeah.
Okay, and the other one is Gili Trawangan. Trawangan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trawangan,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how to say it yet. I'm still learning Bahasa Indonesia.
Cara, it says there's 800 people that live on Gili Trawangan. How many people live on Gili Air?
They said around 2,000, but it's got to be less than Gili T. And right now it's definitely less. But everything you just read is completely accurate. It's
interesting.
Gorgeous. I went swimming with turtles and they're like, hi. Okay, they don't talk underwater, but they kind of look at you like, hi. Yeah, it was an amazing experience, and it's gorgeous here.
I'm looking at the map, listeners, of Gili Air, top right-hand corner, and it's almost like it's like a tooth. Actually, if I was to take a tooth out my mouth, it's got that little kind of N shape at the bottom, and a bit dysfunctional maybe to the left. But you're looking at 500, I mean, literally a kilometre across, and then probably 2 kilometres up. So you could walk around the island in probably about 90 minutes.
Yes, it's about, I think people do it in about an hour if they're going pretty fast. Yeah.
Well, Miss Watsky, I think you're absolutely crazy, which is why I absolutely respect you. You have moved from a megapolis of Guangzhou, smog, just busy, stressed out people, to an island of less than 2 kilometers, 1 kilometer in diameter. I mean, come on.
It's crazy.
Tell us, how has that hit you in a good way? And also, you know, there must have been a few little EBGBs like, oh, what have I done? It's just natural. We have those saboteurs. Give me that last 3 months. What's the process been for you? Or you've just been so busy with stuff? Because I know you are busy with, with the property and everything.
I'm busy. Always running the online programs, but I'm almost finished my first book. Finally, it's been taking years to do. So I've taken the serenity and the calm, quiet of Gili to just take some time to write. Really. It is a little, it's a little lonely because my partner is in the UK with the kids right now. We'll be returning soon. So that's weird, right? You go from this big city where you walk down the street and I'll see like 20 people I know, because the expat community is close. And if you walk into anywhere, people, you can sit down with them or not. You can ignore them too if you want, up to you. But here it's really, really quiet. So making friends is a different experience here than Guangzhou. Guangzhou, I felt, was like super easy. Like you could walk up to anyone and just be like, hey, where are you from? What are you doing? And here, I think because it's such a tourist capital or capita, is that people think you're a tourist when you first arrive. So nobody really talks to you. So I'm just getting in now. Now I have a couple friends. I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, you're nice. Okay, cool. So that's kind of been the big shift is not having a similar expat community to what China was. Because even anywhere you traveled in China, I really felt really super, super welcomed by expats because they were like, what the heck are you doing in China? And not to say the expats here are not friendly. They just don't know. They assume everyone's a tourist because it's so busy all the time. So I finally got in with the expat community, some of them, and that's what they explained. They're like, Cara, they thought you were a tourist. Of course, people aren't going to just come and hang out with you, because why bother? If you're here for a weekend, they don't want to go through the same rigmarole. What are you doing here? How long you been here? What do you, this kind of thing. So yeah, but other than that, it's been an absolute pleasure to go from honking horns and construction every single morning and every single night in Guangzhou. I didn't realize how much it was actually getting to me. So while I love China and the city center, and I miss that bustle and hustle in many ways, I don't miss waking up and going to sleep to loud. I really, really like this calm, quiet. You don't hear anything really. Birds.
Fascinating. Horses, maybe
Horses.
clopping along.
Monitor lizards are famous here.
Wow.
A monitor lizard is like a Komodo. There's one big one living outside my villa. He's a little scary sometimes. If I run into him, I'm like, oh, hey, I'm just going to back away.
I think, I don't know if listeners can hear some little birds in the background, which is wonderful. Mosquitoes, by the way, just off the head. Do you get a lot of those?
Not too bad.
Okay.
Not too bad. Small little ants everywhere. Those were a little tricky at first. They would go into all of my food, even if they were stuck in jars and things. So
wow.
I actually made the how to say. I went out purposefully and bought some Kraft mac and cheese, which is horrible for your health, but delicious for your taste buds. Look at you.
Kids love it. My kids love it. Ugh.
I know. But so I have this like once every couple months. It's just, I feel like a kid again. This is the thing. And so going back to eating, like, so we emotionally eat sometimes, right? And that to me, like mac and cheese, I'm like, oh. So I went out and bought mac and cheese because I was like, there's going to be one day here on this small island, because you have to go to the mainland to buy anything, right? Like import stuff, you have to go out by boat. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have mac and cheese at some point, so I'm just going to get it. Those little ants got into my mac and cheese box and started eating the macaroni. I'm like, who eats raw pasta? Apparently small ants do. I learned my lesson.
Well, this is also the difference of, I'm talking to you now 24 floors up. And I'm sure in Guangzhou, you probably weren't on the ground floor, right?
No, I was at 29 for 8 years. Yeah.
So again, when we get closer to nature, into more natural environments, we do live closer to the ground, which is exceptionally brilliant and wonderfully more healthy in my opinion. But with it, of course, comes the introduction of nature, natural things such as ants. But you've worked a way around it, I'm sure.
Yes.
And you've managed to have your mac cheese. I do like it actually sometimes with ketchup. And if you can cut up a little bit of spinach, or you'd probably say kale or something like that into it, then it can add a little bit of the good stuff in.
I eat the salad on the side. I have the mac and cheese like totally plain, and then I have a big salad on the side.
Okay, so really fascinating stuff actually there that you brought up about the clear differences. And I have some friends on the mainland, on the bigger island called Bali, and they were saying now that since the stuff that's happened and the borders being closed, that the people who are now in Bali aren't the tourist people. They're not the drunken. I don't want to put the Aussies down and generalize or anything, but
the people, I knew it. Those drunken Aussies.
And of course they've all gone. So people, the Balinese and the expats there are really quite loving life in a way. And he says that the ones now who are on Bali are the ones that love Bali, and they're there for the long term, and they want the best for Bali. And I think again, good things can come from bad. And I'm a firm believer. Yeah, I'm an absolute firm believer in that. And they make change. And if we do it in the right way, then we can get things even better than before. So that's really interesting. Now, on that note, here's a little question for you. I found out, researchers have passed me. Which country visits Bali the most per year? Forget obviously last year, because hardly anyone's visited. Let's go 220. I got 220 data here, Cara. The country that visited Bali, which is close to you, the most.
I would say Australia.
Australia. And of course, you're absolutely right. 222,000 Australians, Aussies, or around about in 220 adorned Indonesia, and specifically Bali. Now, what about the second one?
England?
England. I don't know if people have got enough money now in England to come all the way out to wonderful
True.
Bali. It's not England. I'll give you one more guess.
China?
Absolutely. There was the link. 117,000 Chinese visited in 2020. They are the second biggest country that visits Indonesia, Bali each year. And just to put it in perspective, listeners and Cara, so France is the most tourist visited country in the world. I think something like 89 something million people visit there a year on average, which is quite something. And so when you look at Bali, apparently they have 6 million tourists that visit per year. Not as much, obviously, as France, but when you think of it being a small island, Ubud, which is, the spiritual capital in the middle of Bali, right? They get 3 million visitors a year, and there's only 74,000 residents, listeners. So, you're looking at per tourist, per square mile, probably Bali and where you are has got to be way up there, huh?
Yeah, it must be. I mean, yeah, that's incredible. It's such a high number. But
yeah.
I guess that's the great thing for the locals is that it's quiet now, but not for anyone running a business, I would think, right? With tourism being at a halt. But
yeah, I have a good friend, a German man who made the move like you last year, just before lockdown actually happened in Bali. They invested in a beautiful boutique hotel outside of Ubud. Fantastic. They've got 3 children. So they got there, and now since then, from then until now, they've not had one single customer because of the situation at the moment. Now, of course, what have they done? They haven't just sat down and cried. They've got on renovating, getting the children involved, making honey, growing vegetables, all things like that. And I just hope, all the people in Bali and these tourist islands like yours, that now, as you said, it starts to open, that there can just be this wave of positive income. Not just in a money sense. So yeah, it's there's some really interesting, heartbreaking stories as well, but some really good positive ones that come from it, Cara. Now, on the connection of on China, because you've come from China, the Chinese have had a long history in Indonesia, and of course Bali, the popular tourist island. I'm sure some would have gone over to Gilead. Have you met any Chinese people yet, by the way, on your Robinson Crusoe island?
I have not. I have not, actually. Not even one. Nope.
Okay, well, that's going to be a
gonna
first.
Lose all my Mandarin. Oh, man.
Yes.
Gonna have to take online courses for Mandarin to keep it up.
Let's not talk about that. Let's move swiftly on. Of course, the Chinese moved, or they came around. Bali in Indonesia is known as the it's part of the maritime Silk Road, isn't it? So I think the Chinese were coming through on ships, and they're going the other way as well. And they would have been trading things like ceramics and spices, raw materials, gold, tin, sandalwood, and I'm sure some other naughty stuff as well, of course, that was going around there and plays a big part in the history of these islands. And I'm actually delving into that now. I'm reading some really interesting books, as I'm sure you have done. So there's a big connection to China. You've now moved from China. Are you going to be doing anything kind of directly with China, Cara, business-wise, aside, I'm sure, of course, from helping Chinese people with their fitness goals?
So we still own our company within China. We didn't just pull everything out. Right. So we still have our company there. We will still run charity events there. And we are putting Chinese content on our WeChat channels as well. So we very much hope to stay within China and the China market. And as soon as we can, come back and create and do more of the offline events by visiting our people there, because we have a big following in China, and we don't want to lose that. We want to help, and we want people to know that we're still here on the ground, available. We're online and virtual, but we will definitely be doing our China tour. I like to call it a tour. I like to think of me having backup dancers.
Yeah. Oh, don't get all rock on roll on me now. So here's an idea, and I'm sure you've already thought about it. Of course, instead of going to China all the time, and I've just said China are the second biggest visitors to Indonesia. I am sure you could wrap up a beautiful program where they come and do something in Gili Air with you. They come for a week or something like that. Wouldn't that be wonderful? You do cooking and you get to see them face to face. That'd be an absolute smashing program.
That's the future of what we've done here. So we've invested in a villa and then property next to us. So we want to build one more villa plus build a shala so we can run K2 Fit retreats here. And that would be totally inclusive of, our strength training, yoga, food, fitness, mindset, the whole works. So that's the goal for offline here on Gili.
Wow, that sounds absolutely awesome. When you said shala, you mean like what is that? Is it chalet or?
It's like a yoga studio kind of thing. So we want to have like maybe functional fitness down the bottom and then yoga space, like a studio up top. We used to run helipads in Guangzhou where we did these like big events up on the helipads. So we're trying to think of how we could create this on this really small island. So the helipad here might be just 2 stories, but we might create something like that. We think it'd be cool.
I've just got this horrible image though of like multiple helicopters coming down with K2 Fit logos.
No.
You know, the whole of the sand and the animals blasting out. No, of course you wouldn't be like that.
No. Very, very, very calm. We just use the play on words, probably.
Yes, yeah, indeed. Well, I'm kind of nudging myself here that when that does happen, I think we need to invite China Jedi over to do an in-depth video vlog podcast type diary of this wonderful launch, Cara.
Absolutely, for sure. All expenses paid on K2 Fit, right?
You said it. It's on here. It's on here. Get that down.
If you enjoy listening to the China Jedi podcast and want to get involved, either by asking a question, expressing your opinion, good or bad, light or dark, or even appearing as a special guest, then get in touch by emailing our team at info@chinajedi.com. That's info@chinajedi.com. May the smile be with you.